Then if you don't get off my thing, troll, if you don't, oh no, you good, you good. Okay, you don't get off my thing, troll. Alrighty. So yeah, and some of you kind of like help me out with the you know, a man or what? Lord, I am a full-grown woman. Shut up. Good morning, everyone. There's a troll over here. I'm gonna block you because I don't about to have time for that foolishness with you. Okay. Good morning, everyone. Hope all is well. This morning, we're going to talk about how to get some grant funding. I know that a lot of you don't think that in this administration that grants are available to you, or grants are available for you. And then in this economic uncertainty, there's this year here, it's been so much confusion, I'm sure, and so much uncertainty about what's available out here in the marketplace for you in your business. And then yesterday I talked about, I was telling you just briefly, we talked about how to launch a business. Well, today we're going to discuss how to get some funding for your business. And this is just, we're going to touch on things, like I said, this year, we're going to touch on a lot of things and of how you're going to be able to go ahead and start making money. And it takes money to make money in business. Let's just keep it real, everybody. Raise your hand if you know what I'm speaking of. And wellness and a holistic business is that's what we're going to focus on today for, is how to get grant money from that. Because I asked someone earlier to give me a business to kind of focus on, but this can apply to your business, any kind of business. And so once I give tips on her specific business, I want to give you some tips on just any business. It doesn't even pertain to the kind of business that she has. Okay. And so, okay, now I'm going live on another one. So the topic is how to get grant money for your funding for your business. And then also we grant funding. I'm going to touch on a little bit on the contracting side, because all of this it kind of like intertwines with each other in a sense. So I'm going to focus on how you can be able to get some funding for your business. And if you are somebody out here that want to get funding for your business, listen up, because we're going to get ready to talk about some things. Alrighty. And then first, we're going to just walk you through the process of, okay, well, what is it going to take? what is it going to take for you? Okay. Let's see. Yeah. So okay, so we're going to talk about that this morning. So how many of you out here, if you had the funding for the business that you want to do, put in comment me, how many of you would go full all, you would just go all in. You would go all in if you had the funding to do that vision, or to do that vision in your mind about something that you want to do in a business that you want to have. Just put in the comment me. Okay, put in me. If you had that funding, it wouldn't be an option for you to do what you want to do in your business. You wouldn't even give it a second thought. You would just get out there and do what you need to do. And that's the problem with the procrastination in a whole lot of us with moving forward with a business idea. We don't have the funding. And thanks for the hearts over here. Thanks for the love over here in TikTok land. We don't have the funding, and now we're going to talk about how you can overcome those barriers, how you can overcome those limiting beliefs that you have about you and your business. All right. So we're going to talk about those. Now, let me see. I want to make sure that everything is functioning, because I don't want to be going on here and then the audio is not working. So y'all got to bear with me for a few minutes, because so I can give it to you. I can give it to you. Yeah, I can give it to you. Let's see. Making sure. Making sure. The first thing I definitely know that you must do is you must have your business structured correctly. You can't get out here and ask for money for any institution, organization, getting grant money from anywhere if you don't have it structured correctly. And what do I mean by structure correctly? I mean you have to have an EIN. It would be very wise for you to have your 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 LLC, your DUNS number, having a presence, having a 411 number, and definitely having a business bank account with that particular business, and have the same names across the board. That's a big problem. I've discovered having the correct name on every document. If you started a business in the past with a name that you're not going to get the grant for, or you don't want the grant money for, people, just start over. Okay? Just start over. And if the addresses are not matching up, you have an address here, you've been there to this other facility at one time, and the documents are not matching up. You don't have to start over, but contact, let's say for instance, if your EIN number changed, you have moved, go ahead and call them and tell them of the address change. They'll change it in their system, and then they'll send you in the mail a new document for that. Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. Change your documents. And if you have an LLC, it may cost you a few dollars to change that document. Change it. If your bank account needs, updating, the bank may require you to, they probably more than likely they're going to require you to give them the right documentation. Yes. So, I got that all wrong. So they, they everything has to match. And I don't know, just think about this. Would you, if you had the money, if you were releasing money to other companies or someone for a grant, and then you, they didn't have it properly, they didn't have the proper setup, they didn't have the proper information, would you be giving them money, funding? Because you feel like they're confused, they're not ready to receive what you have to offer them. And that's the same way, these grant companies are. That's the same way they are. They're no different. They don't want you to be out here. They don't want you to be out here thinking you're gonna get funding, because you feel like they're confused. Okay. They're not ready to receive what you have to offer them. And that's the same way, these grant companies are. That's the same way they are. They're no different. They don't want you to be out here. Sorry, y'all. I was checking the volume, so it is good. Okay. All right. Now let's go ahead and continue to talk about. We're going to use this wellness to holistic business. We're going to talk about this one because she gave me the information on grants, the one that she wanted to talk about. So now I hope she's still here. If you are still here now, in this, you got, first of all, whatever, now I'm speaking of hers, but you have to do this as well. You got to focus on what area you would like to focus on. Because in a business, in a niche, you got to, sometimes businesses are broad, but you got to niche it down. You have to niche it down. And then you can kind of like reverse engineer and go from there. And what do I mean by that? What do you want to focus on? Do you want to focus on mental health? Do you want to focus on nutrition? Do you want to focus on the herbal aspect? Do you want to focus on yoga? Do you want to focus on community health education? Any kind of alternative therapies? What niche do you want to focus on? That's the first thing. So if we're talking about the wellness holistic business, and if there's anybody else that want me to kind of talk about one, please make sure that you give me your you put your business down and hopefully I can see it. And so, hey, thank you. So that is the beginning of, before you even apply for grants. We're talking about getting grants for your business. Okay. This is what we're speaking of. That's the first thing that you got to do. Niche it down. And is there an underserved community? Because 9 times out of 10, when there's an unserved community, there's going to be some hidden gems in there, whether it's going to be like veterans, seniors, minorities, low income people. That's what I mean when I say that. Do you offer stuff for like maybe someone that is experiencing trauma, things that, whatever it is, that's for the holistic business that we're speaking of right now. Now, in your business, let's take you in your idea. It's no different. It's no difference. You can do the same thing with whatever idea that you have. That's the difference there. Now, like I said, you got to make sure that you register your businesses properly. No one, no company, no organization is going to give you funding, people, unless you have what they need. For the structure, setting up your business, they're not going to give you any funding. They're not giving you funding if you don't have this, you don't have your business structured correctly, set up correctly. They're not giving you any funding, so you can forget that. Because that would be an incomplete application. Incomplete application. And they trashed them. They put them aside, rather, And that meaning having a EIN number. And if you're getting government contracts, because I told you I add that into there in the conversation too somewhat, so I can do 2 in 1 here today. You got to register with sam.gov. If you don't know how to do that, that's what BIZ Strategist Sandy is here for. That's a part of my services. And then each year you have to renew it, but you got to give them some documentation too as well. Okay, you got to get a DUNS number. That's required for federal, well, not so much as SAMS now, because SAMS.gov, when you're registering with them, they require you to have your unique identification number. But it's always good to have that DUNS number, because that DUNS number, it boosts your business. It boosts your business credibility, and it boosts your business for future. You may need funding for your business. So that helps in that area too. You may not know that. That's definitely going to help you with that, with your business credit. And then you making sure that you are registered with your state, like with your LLC or whatever the case may be. And then even if you need to register for your sales tax with your state too as well, make sure that all of that is done. If you're going to have employees working, there are rules and guidelines you guys can get over in, especially with sam.gov. You can't, getting government contracts. You cannot just hire someone overseas and having them as, your contract workers. There are stipulation and guidelines. And another thing that I want to say, just plugging in too, if you're not an avid reader, you need to have someone on your team, because you're going to need a team if you're going to do something like this. You need to have somebody on your team that's going to give you, that's going to read this information for you if you don't like to read. And if you don't like to read, you need to hire somebody like me to make sure that your things are, in place for you, because you can get in trouble if you don't do it correctly. You can get in serious, you can suffer serious consequences and have some violations if you are not doing what they require you to do. You have to read your document. You can lose a government contract, or you can not get a grant simply because you didn't follow instructions. Okay. Put in comment if you're listening to the replay. Now, if you can't, put in FI, follow instructions. FI. If you're listening to me and you can hear me, I want to see you type in FI, follow instructions. That's the major key. Whether it's a government contract, whether it's a grant, You can lose the opportunity if you don't follow instruction. And that's why everybody's not doing it, because everybody don't like to read the fine print. There's a lot of fine print. You guys sign documents just like just like you just like you waking up brushing your teeth or you're using the restroom. Good Lord, you just don't read anything. I never forget, my accounting professor told my management accounting professor said, when I was in college, he said when he and his wife bought their home in Columbia County, he said he read every document. He said, he told him, he said, I am not going to sign this very important major financial obligation for myself for 30 years, 15 to 30 years, whatever he financed his home. He says, and not read what I'm signing. So I say the same for you. That is very important. Read, people. If you don't have the time, if you need some help comprehending or understanding the language, get somebody that does. That's all I'm saying. So they also have these, minority-owned business opportunities for women that are in business. So if there's a woman here, there are opportunities for you here. I know that a lot of things have been sliced, diced, and cut up and grounded up under this new administration. But however, don't allow that to stop you. Okay, do not allow that to stop you, because if you apply and there are funding there, you might just come out on the end, because it might be a liability on their part that if they deny you your opportunities, and you may win in the end greater or bigger, than you even thought. Let's say, for instance, if they try to discriminate you and it's unethical and it's unlawful, well, then the judge may even award you money in the end. I'm serious. So go out here and do what you're supposed to do, or do what you feel like is right in applying for some of these, like women-owned small business, minority. Did I cut y'all off? Minority business enterprises, disadvantaged business enterprises, the 8A, certification through the SBA, and and those kind of things. Okay, so next thing. There's a lot of research that's going to be involved. Now, if you don't have the time to research, that's what BIZ Strategist Sandy is over here. That's what this company is over here for, to help you do. Now, you will have to search. Let me ask y'all this. Do you actually think that it's going to be that easy to get funding for your business? Do you actually think things is going to be easy for you? And I know that's why a lot of you are not doing this, because you just don't want to do the work. I'm not trying to fuss at you, and I'm not trying to be negative Nancy over here. But doing the work is imperative for you to be successful out here. Okay? Do the work. If you don't have time to do the work, get someone pay for the services, people. You have all kind of opportunity. Okay. You have all opportunity to do. You have all opportunities to just do whatever. You have it. But if you don't spend the money in your next level, because it shows that you spend money on you spend money on something. You're spending money on retail therapy or whatever. You're spending money somewhere. Spend money and invest on yourselves. That's if you are listening at me and you want a business. You want a business. That's what I'm talking about. If you want the grant money, if you want a contract, you have to invest in a different area. I understand we need to look good, look the part sometimes. Be the part. Don't just look it. Be the part. And being the part is being, not just looking to impress other people. Invest your money, invest your time and your effort. If you want to go places, if you want to do great things, you have to shift the mindset. Okay? I see too many people now just want to look and impress the world. You want people to see that you've taken a trip that you probably in the past have always dreamed about. Y'all ever read Rich Dad Poor Dad? Rich Dad Poor Dad speaks about that all the time. That he took and invested in the things that he wanted. He invested in the things that he wanted. I mean, he invested in the things that made it was an asset to him so where he can get the things that he wanted. We are doing things backward. Okay? We're doing it backward. And it's not that you don't have the opportunity, you don't qualify for the grant. You don't qualify for the government contract. You're just not doing the work to put yourself in position to get it. That's all it is. It's you standing in your own way. You standing in your own way. You are. You standing in your way. And so back to the holistic business, like I said, your wellness holistic business, definitely come up with a niche that's going to be very important. Whatever it's going to be, is low income, veterans, seniors. Just sit down and research it, sis. Search it. Find out what you want to do. Find out what exactly niche. And I'm talking to all of you. What is the niche that you want to do in whatever business? If you're writing a book, if you're going to start a program, if you're going to educate. Now, let me say this too. And I think I mentioned this to you the other day when we had a conversation. I feel like we shouldn't be begging anyone in the African American community to teach our children anything. We don't have to beg, borrow, or steal. We don't have to beg anyone to do anything for our kids or our next generation. We have enough educators that even probably retired that we can pool together and we can start a school. We can start a school in our communities to help our children, because no one is saving these our black boys. No one's saving these children. No one is taking the initiative to even think of them on a level that is saying, oh, okay, I really want them to be something in life. Because the parents, for the most part, they are broken. They come from broken backgrounds. They come from broken statuses. They come from broken, whatever. They've had things that they had to deal with in the past. So we can't beat up anybody. Only thing we need to do is pray for each other, pray for each other's children, and stop all of this, wanting the downfall of other people and gloating in what's going on in their world and saying, oh, that ain't you. Look at that child. Look at that. Look. I pray for people. And some of my close to me, they know. I'm sitting there. Sometimes I literally am weeping because I don't want to see children go through these horrible things that they're going through now. And I know sometimes it's not always, but most of the time is we try to be our children's friends instead of being their parent. It's good to have that bond with them, relationship, you jail with them or whatever the case may be. But some of you go overboard with it and you don't have that separation of respect. Okay? You don't. And I mind, they think I'm hard on them and all this kind of stuff. Even now I know they're grown, but I am so proud of my children because when they were coming up, I disciplined them. I'm not talking about physically hitting them or spanking them, but I had a discipline. I had a structure in the home. I had a discipline program up in this house, and they are doing well in life. And I am so grateful for that. And I'm not saying that you got that and knows it didn't. No, it doesn't matter. I'm not speaking of that. So get the negative, get all of that out your head and use your other excuses. Don't put the foolishness in my comments because I'm gonna block you. Okay? But I'm saying this about the discipline and even in business. I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but even in business, discipline is the key. The results is going to come in about the order. God is about order. Let's look. Don't listen to me. Listen to the word. The God says in his word, the order of the day is so important for the results that you're looking for. The order of the day. The order of your day. And all this, and if you look at the business, the grants and the contracts and everything that you or can be awarded out here, it has a component of order. They asking you for things that they need from you. They want to make sure that you're structuring it correctly. They want to make sure that you're actually giving them, because they have checks and balances too. This grant funding comes from a place, or they have to follow rules and guidelines too, and say, okay, well, you giving this grant money to whom? So there's going to be checks and balances. And if everybody's on the same program and everybody's following the orders like it's supposed to be, then guess what? You possibly can win a grant, or you possibly can. But they have to give an account. Everybody has to be accountable for something in the United States, because that's the way the government has it set up. Everyone, even the grant money that you're getting that has nothing to do with these private organizations and things like that, they have to go by rules, people. They have to go by rules. And so this is why when you are applying for grants, this is why there's so much red tape and paperwork, because it's checks and balances. They have compliances too. So get yourself out of the mindset that to feel like someone owe you something. They don't owe you anything. If you're not doing the work, if you're not proving to them that you're going to use this money in a proper manner from the guidelines that they give you on how to use it, and that comes from you reading what they're telling you can use the money for, then you possibly may win. There are a lot of applications in. Yes, it is. There are a lot of people applying for grants. Yes. But you have to follow their rules. Okay. Now, I don't have time this morning to talk and get into this. I've been on here for a minute. I want you to ingest this, digest what I just told you this morning. And tomorrow when we come in, I'm going to talk to you more about the preparation and what it looks like, the details of it. We're going to talk about the details. How about that? Yay! Tomorrow. And tomorrow is my mom's birthday too. So we're going to talk about the details of it. Yeah, it's her physical birthday. We had a surprise birthday party for her Saturday. So yeah, she was almost surprised until somebody else says I'm doing that Thursday. But anyway, she thought she was helping me out with a workshop Saturday. So I think she didn't think a party was going to be Saturday. She probably thought it might have been the next week or whatever. But anyway, I'm elated anyway. She had a great time, and I share the pictures of I share some of the photos when they come back from the photographer. So anyway, yeah. So she's 75, and I'm so grateful for her being still here, because I know a lot of people don't have their mom. So I'm grateful. So yeah. So anyway, tomorrow we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that business planning portion. We're going to talk about the details of the budgeting of the grants, where you can get, and then the clear mission and the vision of getting this funding. So this is what we're going to talk about tomorrow. But this is stuff what I just talked about today. It's more so the mindset. And then I'm going to get your holistic. We're going to use, since she was we're going to use the holistic wellness. We're going to use that as our base to talk about it, and then I share with you. But see, she was the first one that gave. So see, she's getting, in a sense, some free coaching. So, you guys, so hang around. And so, yeah. So anyway, you hang around, and tomorrow we'll be on. More than likely, I'm going to work on being on maybe be in the earlier morning, like 8 o'clock. But if I have time to come back today, because I have really been, doing other things when I'm working on my clients that I'm working one-on-one with them. I've really been busy doing those things for them. And so anyway, just come back and get some of this information and do something with it. Not only just listen to me, but do something with it. So I give you a list of things. And so anyway, if you want more information or for as about how to set up your grant, I have free resources on the basic foundation structure. You can go to my website. You can go and see the free information. Get on the list of when I give free tips. I have things that I don't just share online. I have my own community that I do share things with, so where they can have what they need. Okay. And I don't mind sharing with you. I give you now right here on this platform here, I give you all the information that you need to help you out. If you're going to work with me one-on-one, let me tell you, it is going to have to be with a consultation. It's going to be, my my expertise, and I can get a little bit deeper with you personally, but my expertise is not free, people. Okay. God gave me the gift, and he says, Deuteronomy 18, he says your gift will make room for you. And my gifts have made room for me, and I am not going to swindle them and give them away to the swines out here that just want to take from people. Okay. So anyway, you get the free content right here. If you want to work with me one-on-one, then that's a totally different totally different business model. It is what it is. Okay. So I am giving you free information here that a lot of people won't even tell you. All right. Okay, thanks so much, and I'll talk to you later. Talk to you tomorrow morning. If not, then I may put up a few videos if I think of anything that I didn't say today that I want to. You're so welcome. You're so welcome. And tomorrow we'll use your as the model business that we'll talk about, and then also I'll just kind of give some little tips on, okay, if someone has had a similar business. But everybody, what you need to have gotten from this today is you need to definitely know what your niche is, decide and determine and narrow it down, and then your business need to be registered. And then also there are some certifications that you need to look into, and the main thing is remember reading all the contracts and knowing where you can find government contracts. You have to research, and if you don't, and if this is something that y'all may be interested in, I may even do a workshop on this if some of you are interested, and we'll work through this together. But you have to let me know. We'll talk about this more, and you see if this information is so overwhelming to you, then I can do it, and we can walk step by step. We can do maybe a 6 week workshop, because people, the money is out here for you. I know the administration has really stopped and diced and sliced a lot of things, but the funding is going to be out here for you. You got to believe that you can have, because God can make even the worst of the worst change their mind. Okay. Everything can be in your favor when you trust and believe in God. And that's all. People, man, don't have any control of this. Now that it appears that way, but he doesn't. Believe that. Okay. All righty. Well, you have a beautiful morning. Talk to y'all later. Take care. Bye-bye. See you later. Oh.